Good morning. How y'all doing out there? Today's episode is going to be about why is CNN doing a special on Abraham Lincoln? I'm always blown away that the networks claim to be so progressive and so modernized, and yet they want to dig up some old slave masters' bones and create this tale and this story. Let's get some stuff straight. Abraham Lincoln was not no hero. He was a kidnapper. He was a slave master. He benefited off a race of people's pain, misery, profited. And when you see the white nationalists and all that racist trash that Donald Trump incited in Washington a month ago, and then he compared himself to Abraham Lincoln, talking about how he was the most important person in the situation since Lincoln for black folks. Well, if that's your standards of being helpful, then I guess, the Ku Klux Klan and the Grand Wizardry is like next of kin, all in the same clique. I don't understand what CNN's purpose is for having Abraham Lincoln being used, or any of them. Because all the founding forefathers were slave masters and benefited off of selling this property. And Abraham Lincoln is no hero. And it doesn't need to be reminded at all. Because if you're going to start keep doing this with this narrative of Abraham Lincoln, I guess Jim Jones and Charles Manson, and Hitler and others, I guess they'll get rewarded too. You see, that's the problem with this country. They still reward people who did ills and never were held accountable. What they should say is that we should be sorry. When you talk about cancel culture and all this other stuff, how come Abraham Lincoln ain't cancel culture? George Washington ain't cancel culture. Thomas Jefferson ain't cancel culture. I can go on. Profiting off slavery or plantations. Let's remember, he ain't freed nobody. If Abraham Lincoln freed somebody, it'd be like, okay, here's your papers. You can go anywhere in the world you want. You have a walking passport. See, when you're African American in this country and you have a passport, you still have to give a government sanction, which is criminal in its own self. Last I checked, black folks did not ask to come to America and did not ask to have to stay. But you have to provide that information, get that, pay for it, and get a clearance when they took from you over 400 years ago. So why does Abraham Lincoln get treated like he did something, except be a slave master and profit off the pain and misery of African Americans? And why is CNN showing it and showcasing it? You sit around and you're watching things and you're like, why do they still acknowledge these slave masters? Because to even give him the time of day, he should be banned off of money. They should take his face off. He ain't do no favors. We still stuck here. Still here. So this always is narrative that this white dude is some kind of savior. He ain't no savior. He's a criminal. Tell it like it is. CNN did not do their job. They're glorifying this racist trash. And that gets no respect from me. But anyway, give me your thoughts and takes about CNN pimping the Abraham Lincoln agenda. It's embarrassing, it's sad, and it's still another year, another time. Does not need to be on. Tell people the truth. For if he really did emancipate people, they could go anywhere in the world free of charge. Since the more than enough built this country and more than enough did things, just have never gotten acknowledged and rewarded. 400 years still wait on reparations. 40 acres a mule times plus interest. Joe Biden, you on the clock. Give me your thoughts and your takes. Hit the like, that, subscribe. I do welcome thoughts and comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for one another. And these places, CNN is no different than Fox in that regard. Regurgitate the past to pimp the agenda. I'm out.